It is a pleasure to be here, and I do thank you for inviting me, because you're absolutely right. We've been connected on LinkedIn for 4 years, but it is only the last 6 months, and that's because of what I want to share with you. So much has changed globally. We know that we're online now, and so much has changed in the business workplace for marketing, and therefore especially LinkedIn. And yes, you're right. I think COVID, while there's a lot of trauma, I think it has been the catalyst for a lot of people to change their business focus. And for us, it was also the catalyst to change our personal focus. You're right, we got locked down here in southern Spain, and 5 months in, we went, well, this is our dream home and we're loving it. Why don't we take residency? So that's what we've done. There is a link I have that Dilla will share. I'm going to jump straight into a presentation and share my screen with you. And I'm trusting that in a moment, Dilla will probably just say yes, that you can see it. And if I then do this and start from there, I trust, unless I hear otherwise, that you can see my screen that says how businesses in 10 different countries across 6 different time zones generate leads from their LinkedIn posts every week. Is that okay? I'm not hearing a no. All good, thank you, Dilla. I'm going to run through it because I'm very conscious of time. And so for the next 35 minutes or 40 minutes or so, I want to give you some things that you can take away and use. And I will be here after, Mary and I will be here after, for the networking, and for as long as people want to sort of ask us whatever we can, because I do believe we're in a massively golden opportunity, and I'll come into that. If I use this presentation to sort of keep me on track, because I know we've probably got other professional speakers in the network and on the event today, and if you are like me or Mary, we can probably talk forever. So let me run straight through, and I'll explain how things have changed. I want to show you how your posts can massively help you to grow your network, and that's what we're all about. And I love the concept of Win Trade Global, and how you can gain new clients and new business, and how to guarantee thousands of views of your posts. And then what we've developed is what I call the 5 steps to writing powerful posts. Because if we'd have spoken, if Yvonne had come, and by the way, we're doing business together. Yvonne has joined my post-party club that I'm going to mention, and that's how we started to engage more. And that's all because of what's changed online, and all because of LinkedIn. So it's the proof of the pudding. People have been forced online. Let me give you just a bit of a background really as to LinkedIn, where it was and where it is now. Because if Yvonne and I had engaged 18 months ago, I'd have probably been talking about what you can do with your LinkedIn profile and the different strategies you can use within LinkedIn. But now I'm constantly getting asked, we're on LinkedIn, but we're posting part of our social media. How can we get better engagement from our posts? What do we post? How do we post? What do we write? And that's really what we're going to cover now. So just as a way of a bit of background, LinkedIn was created in 2003. 18 years ago, and it has changed massively from what it was set up to do with what you can do now. A little bit like me, those are true photos of me. I actually set my business up. I trained as a business coach in Australia in 2003, and that's what I look like at the top. And so in the way LinkedIn has morphed, I think I've probably morphed as well. There are now, what happened in COVID is we've seen a massive surge of usage. People are being booked. Everyone's online, and the great thing about that is that your audience are out there, your prospects are out there, but the flip side of it is we are being bombarded by connection invites and poor sales messages, poor engagement, and poor content and poor posts. My brother is corporate lawyer within corporate PLC in the UK, and he said, yeah, I'm being bombarded by stuff. I thought of leaving LinkedIn, and we talked about why you shouldn't. But what also surprised me towards the back end of last year is the number of new users has grown. In the UK alone, it's gone from 29 million to 31 million personal profiles, and globally from over 600 to 700 million. It's staggering. That's almost 10% of the population, isn't it? And by the way, because I'm short on time, Dilla will put in my linked tree, nothing to do with LinkedIn, but a link tree link that takes you through to a number of other links. One of which is my diary link for those, and we'll come on to it, that really are looking for some help going forward. But there's also a free download. In lockdown, I published a couple of ebooks on Amazon, And one of them is called LinkedIn Content Secrets. And there's a way of saying sort of thank you to Yvonne and the team for inviting me along. You can click on that link and download it for free. You don't have to go to Amazon. You don't have to buy it. And it's within that link. Because there is now been such a massive surge of usage and a massive surge of new people on LinkedIn, which is interesting. And in my world, it is the biggest online networking and marketing tool. And it is one of your bigger databases. I'm a believer as a business coach. I do say to people, I don't care what you think about me. I care about what you go away and do. And that's important. And I do believe that your database is for a lot of people your biggest asset, most valuable asset, probably in your life, let alone in your business. We have a wonderful house down here in southern Spain. We got it through referral, through somebody on LinkedIn, and within 24 hours, I found a English-speaking Spanish property lawyer and financier down in Spain through my contacts on LinkedIn. I asked, who do you know who? I have over 20,000 connections, so you need to connect with me on LinkedIn. You should be connecting with each other, because it's not just about whether I'm connected with you and whether you think can be of help to you or target audience to you. It's my connections that you can then find in searches. So you will immediately have 20,000 other what's called second tier connections to be able to tap into. So in way of a little bit of background, Mary and I live and work together. Mary was founder president of the Professional Speakers Association in the Midlands when I met her in 2003. So we're both passionate about speaking. I saw there in the video about public speaking. So there's a lot of conversations we can have with a lot of people. But LinkedIn has changed massively. And apparently 80% of business to business leads come from LinkedIn versus 13% on Twitter and 7% on Facebook, according to omnicore.com. And that was of interested me because it surprised me, certainly between Twitter and Facebook. But it is apparently, it's the #1 channel that business to business marketeers use to distribute content. 94% of B2B marketeers use LinkedIn to distribute content. It's staggering. And I just had someone post today saying, I don't care whether you're B2B or B2C, business to consumer. He's getting business as a business to consumer business through LinkedIn. So it really is good enough to be true. As a business coach, and I know there's some coaches on the call, we're all about anything is possible. And there is so much opportunity right now with LinkedIn. But just very quickly, I think the biggest mistake I hear and meet with people in business is they haven't learned to market and sell themselves. And again, I love what Wintrade is doing, but teaching people and showing people how to do that, because you have to learn how to market and sell yourselves. And I call this presentation, when I deliver it elsewhere, how to raise your profile without being pushy or salesy, because it's a lot of people's concerns. Marketing is about generating the conversation, the lead. Selling is about converting that into business. And I said that LinkedIn is the biggest online marketing tool. For me, it's about getting the conversation offline as quickly as possible. And I'll explain why. But just again, by way of a bit of background, there's two sides, I think, to LinkedIn. One is your profile that has to get found, give value to the reader, and prove your credibility. This is the marketing side. Your profile really is your web page, really is your marketing piece. And it's about doing it right. Just very quickly, that's my formula for success. And it stands for massive action times the right stuff times consistently. Massive action times the right stuff times consistently equals results. Because you could go and connect with 50 people a day, and that's massive action compared to what a lot of people are doing. But if your engagement message and welcome message or connection message is poor and pushy and salesy, and you're jumping straight in and you haven't built rapport, massive action times 0 equals 0. But let's say you've learned how to engage with people, how to create messages with value. And you send out 50 invites and your engagement is great, but you do it once. Massive action times the right stuff times 0 equals 0. So if you're not getting the results you want in your LinkedIn activity, your marketing activity, your business, or any part of your life, have a look at which part of these formula do I need to work on. And today is about giving you some of the things that you can do in the right way, the right stuff. Because the second side of LinkedIn is your strategy. And your strategy is about how you find, connect, and engage in the right way with your ideal contact. And I've said this is the selling side because you're selling the idea of getting a conversation, getting engagement. And I'm looking to take the conversation offline as quickly as possible, because you're unlikely for most people to sell what you're selling through LinkedIn. Now, I have a membership to the Post Party Club. It's at 97 quid a month, and I do get sales through the internet. I can engage with someone, drive them to a website, and it sells. But I also deliver for clients on their LinkedIn activity of connecting for them with their ideal contact and messaging their contacts. Your average CEO has about 1,000 connections. There'll be a lot of people on the call today with a lot more than that. And I deliver that. But it's a much higher investment price and the ticket price. And so I'm never going to sell that pointing someone to a website. I'm looking to get the conversation offline as quickly as possible. And just to give you an example, I screenshot this. And if you've not played around with the search box, that bit at the top where I put in the words purchasing manager, and I think I looked at the UK and it's pulled up 3.5 million results you can see there. But what's powerful is, yes, you can drill down into that. The search criteria is quite good with LinkedIn. But you'll see that it tells me that this guy Alvin is a second tier connection of mine, and that below it says Thomas Power is a shared connection. Thomas Power is a client of mine. I could ring Thomas up and say, how well do you know Alvin? Because remember, it's about finding, connecting, and engaging in the right way. It's incredible for finding anybody in the world now. So if you're not utilizing the search function and you're not engaging directly, go play with the search function, go and have a look, because it's what revolutionized my business 10 years ago when I started. I found and got to a corporate decision maker in the UK within a few minutes. And I got a message back from him that day saying, yes, I'm interested in talking with you. Here's my mobile cell number. There's no way before I could have ever found that type of person, let alone got to him. So there's two sides to LinkedIn. Is the strategy. But we've talked about posts, because if we'd have met 18 months ago, I would have said I don't put a lot of value on posts because I'm not getting a lot of response from them. I'm not getting people engaging with it. My strategy is connect with someone saying, here's my magic message to that corporate decision maker. When he connected, I said, would you be interested in talking about how I could help you to help your sales teams achieve more sales? And he said, yeah, I'd love to. That was always my strategy, is direct connection, direct engagement from 30 years background of sales. But actually the content opportunity we've got right now, I've said there's direct engagement, but posts, part of your social media, but posts specifically on LinkedIn also feeds direct engagement. Because if people are seeing your content and it's invaluable content and engaging content, they're likely to look at your profile. They're likely to then click through and want to connect with you and want to engage with you. Apparently, there are over 9 billion post impressions. That means a post that shows up in your feed per week. Not 9 billion in your posts, but not in your feed, but 9 billion post impressions on LinkedIn showing up in people's feeds every week. And there's a high level of readership. And literally, we have a captive audience right now because everybody's online. My 80-year-old father is having his choir practice via Zoom now. 18 months ago, he'd never heard of Zoom. So we're all online. Today's testimony to that. So you have a captive audience that it's just an opportunity to engage with them. And the reality is less than 1%, 1 in 100 people are posting, and most don't have a clue how to get engagement, how to make them work. And my tech team, we've invested a lot of tech hours in the last 18 months plus. Don't ask me how they did this, but they got hold of 30,000 premium users. Those are people subscribed to LinkedIn Premium or LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And we saw that 20% of them, 6,000 of them, were posting twice per week and getting less than 10 engagements per post. That's less than 10 likes or 10 comments on their posts. It's about engaging in the right way, the right stuff. That's what we're going to cover. I've got one eye on the clock. I hope this is okay and at the right speed. Dilla might message me. I'm conscious it's fast, but I'm giving you some stuff that you're going to be able to take away and use, and we're going to be able to hook up afterwards. Those of you that understand marketing would if you're as old as me, you might remember pre-social media when I set up my business in 2003, there was none. We were taught that you've got to communicate, you've got to touch your audience, your prospects 7 to 14 times to get the maximum engagement from those people. I think you've got to add a zero with that now. We're in such a fast swipe world that we're bombarded with information. We know that, whether it's iPhones or phones, whether it's email, internet, social media, how many channels are there? You've got to. I often get asked, I don't want to be pushy. Am I pushing too much stuff out there? I don't believe you can. If you're pushing stuff out in the right way, if it's the right content that's of value, then people have to see it, because they won't remember it. They'll move on, they'll swipe on, they'll see it again. And when they're ready, they'll engage with you. Every time you show up in your feed, or the feed of your prospects or your contacts. It's building your own personal brand. And another thing to remember is that LinkedIn lurkers are watching everywhere. These are people that are consuming content. I had a guy book a call with me, and I said, unusually, we're not connected on LinkedIn. That is unusual. How come? He said, oh, I've been reading your posts for the last 3 months now. I need some help. I said, but you've never engaged with me. You've never liked anything or commented on anything. He said, no, I don't do that. I'm just looking for the information I need, and then I can kind of contact the person I want. The challenge nowadays is we don't know where people are coming from. So you've got to keep putting content and engagement out there. I had a guy call me and said, I want to buy your online course. I have an online LinkedIn training course. He said, I've seen your videos. I said, wonderful. I'm presuming that's where, what videos? I've got videos everywhere. He said, on YouTube. I said, oh, good. My YouTube strategy is working. He said, yes, one of your Facebook posts referred me to your YouTube channel. And I just can't get my breath, because how can you track that? Where has he seen Facebook? We were connected. Are they seeing you on LinkedIn? I had someone say, can I interview you for my Instagram live? I said, you can. You'll have to show me how to use Instagram. He said, oh, by the way, you need to be on TikTok. I said, by the way, you need to get real. I'm on YouTube. I've got email. I've got Facebook. I've got especially LinkedIn. I said, I've got enough marketing strategies. I need to be polishing them more and more of the right stuff. So people are lurking and consuming your content everywhere. So what can we post? There's 3 sides to posting that I'm going to cover. First of all, what can you be posting? So your feed post, what you post in LinkedIn in your post section. You have a maximum of 1,300 characters. So posts need to be quite succinct and of a lot of value. And it says there text with or without image, but I would say with an image always. It's proven that you will get a higher engagement rate. More people will engage with your posts if it's got an image. We're visual creatures. We picture things, don't we? And I've said there native video. All that means is video you upload directly into the post. So not a link to a Loom video or a YouTube video. Here's a key thing we've discovered. LinkedIn will suppress, the algorithm will suppress your post if you have an external link in the body of your post. Because if you think about it, LinkedIn doesn't want you taking people off their platform. The longer they stay on and read your content, the more ads that they can sell. So if you are going to put a link in your post, say to your website or your blog or a video, write in your post about the content. Here's my valuable content to you in my post. And by the way, if you want to see the rest of the website or the video, I've put the link in the comments below. That bypasses the suppression, but it also adds the algorithm that we'll come on to later. But a lot of people don't realize that. I see so many links in the bodies of their posts because they're trying to promote themselves, and actually they're just getting their posts suppressed. Less and less people are seeing them. Documents, presentations. An article is something that sits on your profile, and there's a lovely way of promoting your article through posts and getting more likes and comments and views of your posts. Of course, you can share other articles. And when you're sharing stuff, commenting is the easiest way to engage. And it's actually included in LinkedIn's algorithm to be commenting on other people's posts. But remember, it's visible on your profile when you're commenting. So be very careful what you're commenting about. I know most people say they don't talk about religion or politics or whatever else, but actually I won't argue with people. I won't form strong opinions. I will look to invoke intelligent engagement and conversation. I had a very high ticket consultancy client get business just from engaging and promoting conversation on someone else's post. People then looked at his profile, saw what they did. And I'm talking consultancy at 10 grand, upselling to 50 grand. It was high ticket stuff. No call to actions, no sales, no, just intelligent commenting and conversation. It's the best way to be considered a thought leader is to participate in discussions. So of course, the common question that I get asked a lot is, so what do I post? How do I post? What do I post? I know how to post. It's all about value. Your role is to educate and inspire your audience. You've got to give value. It's not just a plug. I do a lot of work with property investors, and I see a lot of people just posting about their deal or posting something they've done. It's not really telling you what you can do for me. Is it interesting? It'll get some views, but not all of the time. what we've developed, I have a client in our post party club. He teaches people how to develop their proposition and how to write powerful content that works. And what we have got is the 7 most successful styles of posts. You may or may not agree with this or notice this. Yvonne may not even know. But years ago, I did a stand-up comedy course. Some people reckon I didn't turn up to it. But what I learned was 3 distinct styles and contexts and ways to create comedy. There's a lot more, but I learned 3 ways. In the same way, there are 7 styles of writing posts. You can write the hero's journey, so you can talk about someone where he started small and worked up big. Stories and metaphors. Psychologically, we relate to stories. Those coaches on the call will understand the power of metaphors. You can write in a conversation. Mary said this, Andy said this, and that people picture it. It's like reading a book, isn't it? Topsy and Tim apparently are children's characters, I think, in the UK, but they do things very opposite. So one will do thing in black, one in white, so you can create contrast and get your message across. Case studies, so testimonials and case studies especially are great. I love the challenge personally because I could be quite blunt. You know, if your profile doesn't have a headline that grabs attention, it sucks and you're losing business. It'll capture the right people, and then you can build the story. Now, I would say, think of the styles that suit your style, but more importantly, what styles will appeal and work for your audience. Because if I wrote in the challenging style, maybe to risk-averse audiences, so maybe in financial services, maybe in law, it may or may not get the same sort of effect. So it's about thinking carefully. And our members within Post Party Club, we give them this, they can see this, and we teach them how to write content is obviously step 1. So what to post. But then part 2 is what I call the mechanics of posting. I've mentioned external URL links. Don't put them in the body of your post, but you can use hashtags to get more exposure. A hashtag, people can follow hashtags. It's that little symbol there. And it's a message to LinkedIn, to the algorithm, to push your post out to the people that are following those hashtags so more people could see them. Use them with caution, use them in balance. I saw the other day someone just listed a whole bunch of hashtags, and the post is not of value to me. I've turned off straight away. You're just trying to manipulate getting people. I suggest create a library of maybe a dozen hashtags of your target audience, your keywords, maybe with the ones that have got lots of followers, and you can get hundreds of thousands of followers to some hashtags, and then use maybe 3 in your post and rotate them. In the same way of tagging other people, do it intelligently. So the other week I tagged a mentor of mine. He's worth 100 million. He's taught a lot and taught me a lot over the years. And I said, I was talking about X, Y, and Z that @Brad Sugar's taught me, blah, 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 blah. The chances are then if he sees that, A, I've complimented him. B, if he comments, it's pushing the post out to the rest of his network, or he might decide to share it. So tag people again. In balance. Don't just, I saw the same thing. I saw somebody tag me in 40 other people. The moment I saw the list of tags, I've just moved on. So use it intelligently. And emojis, I love human psychology. The bonkersness is that a study has shown that if you use an emoji in your post, you get up to 31% more engagement. I think it's bonkers. I had someone saying, that's ridiculous. I said, yeah, it is. It's human psychology. But you know what? If humans are going to read more of them are going to read my post because I put an emoji in, I'll put a blinking emoji in. What are we looking to do in business? We're looking to get more people to see our message. You know, everyone on this call, everyone in business, I presume, except the con people, you have a product or service that helps your customer in whatever way it helps them. So our duty is just to get that message out to more people, isn't it? So that's the mechanics of posting. But then the third part is LinkedIn's algorithm, and all platforms have algorithms, and it is out there, and we've discovered it in the last 18 months. And it is, when I say common knowledge, it's not just exclusive to us. Don't ask me how on earth it got into the depths of Google that one of my tech guys discovered. But LinkedIn wants valuable content, wants readership and engagement. How do you judge what is a valuable post? Well, what the algorithm says is if your post gets 15 likes and comments, and it's not about shares, 15 likes and comments that you then comment back on, within 2 hours of you posting, the algorithm looks at it and says this must be good content, great content, because you've got a lot of engagement that you've engaged back with to your network very quickly. And the interesting thing, I did some work, I had a guy help me with YouTube, and he said that pretty much the same. He said, if you can drive people to view your YouTube video within 2 hours of publishing it, that algorithm pushes it out to more exposure. I was getting 5 times the level of, I don't know what that noise is. Dealer, I don't know. There's a bit of background noise. I don't know whether it's coming from the platform.
Sorry,
I got
Andy,
5 times my results.
Andy, I think you're...
And the thing that we've discovered is if you just post ordinarily, then the algorithm will push your post out to between 8 and 15% of your network, of your connections. It's abysmal. But if you tick this algorithm, then it pushes it out to the rest of your network. Of course I can, dealer. Dealer's just asked me to stop presenting for a moment. Do you want me to stop sharing my screen?
Have you turned off your...
How are we?
I think if you can carry on talking without the presentation for a moment, sure. I think we will then go back into the presentation because the presentation disappeared, unless Dilla can present it from your end, Dilla.
I can probably talk through the rest of the things because I'm conscious. Can you see Yvonne? Yes, I can, Dilla. Thank you. Shall I carry on? Because there doesn't need to be a lot more slides that I need to show you. That formula, that algorithm is the key thing. Dealer's presenting it. How about that? If you get to the formula, if you go on to the next slide, this is the key thing. Your post, if you get 15 likes and 15 comments that you comment back on within 2 hours, the algorithm pushes it out to the rest of your network and the networks of the people that are engaging. And I remember when I first started in business, I had a web designer friend of mine say, can you imagine if you wrote a advert, powerful advert full of value, and you just kept it in your shed, you didn't put it in the newspaper, you didn't put it out into direct mails, no one would see it. He said, in the same way as a web designer, he said, I can build you fantastic looking websites, but if you don't position SEO, search engine optimization, no one is going to see your posts. So yes, there is a need, an absolute need right now to write powerful content. And most people don't understand how to write powerful content, and we've covered some of that. But unless you're tapping into that algorithm, very few people are going to see your post. Remember, I said it's between 8 and 15% of your connections it gets pushed out to, about 10%. It's abysmal. So you have to tap into this this algorithm. Now, Dealer, if you want to move it on slightly, unless you're telling me I can. We've created the Post Party Club. There are other pods out there, but they fall down for a bunch of reasons. And I've got a guy who said, and we've tested and seen lots around the world, because it's about getting not just engagement. We took this, we did a lot of beta testing. And when you go on the link that we've shared and you look at my, and you download my LinkedIn Secrets ebook, talks about the due diligence, the research that we did. We took this into corporate because corporate company said, hey, we can do this. We've got 15 salespeople, 15 team members. And sure enough, instantly you saw they started to get thousands of views. You will get thousands of views on your posts. So if anyone's posting and not getting at least a couple of thousand of views of your posts, you need to tap into this algorithm. And it worked within corporate, but what we saw over the next 90 days was results became less and less. And what that tells us is the algorithm wants to see unique participation, like Google wants to see unique content. So most pods out there struggle to get the engagement from people. I've had clients saying, well, yes, I get people post or comment on my post a few hours later or the next day. Well, it falls over because the most powerful part, most important part of that formula is the 2-hour window, that it happens quickly. So we've built the Post Party Club. We've developed a lot of tech that allows, and we have 6 post party portals around the world where we've got hundreds of members, and we have 7 time slots per week that are consistent. So you register into a post party and you get the system gives you 15 random other participants for you to like and comment on their post, and in return another random 15 members like and comment on yours, and you do it within that window and you get massive exposure. Now we've built it as a club because we've got a private Facebook group where we can teach all of our members how to write great content. We've got resources in there on those 7 posts that work. We've got content and video and documents on how to create a powerful profile, because if you're going to start posting and getting that exposure and you learn and how to write engaging content, then your profile better be good, because more people are going to look at your content, see your content, and want to look at your profile. So, but most people don't understand how to write a powerful profile that I touched on at the beginning. Now, as a strategy, you're going to get more views to your profile. So one of the things you should all be doing is connecting with everybody that views your profile. I've written business like that over the years, but your message to them is, hey, you viewed my profile recently, just wondering what interested you to do so and how I might be able to help. Because then the moment someone comes back and says, well, I was looking at this, you've got engagement. So we're teaching our members how to write content. I've got content in there on how to generate referrals. We've got case studies, we've got examples, we've got live sort of coaching and development within the Facebook group, and we run a twice monthly group strategy call on Zoom with what's just been happening. We've just had a member get 57,000 views on his post, and we've dug down and understood why, and we've shared that with our members. We've got people LinkedIn are now giving you, some of you may have had, it'd be interesting to know if anybody has, and I'll just wrap up with this, if anybody has had a rosette saying your post is in the top 1% of engagement within your